Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So my name is Katie and today I'm going to be talking about some of my favourite sci-fi books. Yeah, so I definitely need to read more sci-fi books, but I'm just going to be talking about some of the ones that I love today. So it's definitely one of my favourite genres. I really enjoy them when I read them, but I think I just don't read them that much. So if you have any recommendations, please let me know because there's so many that I want to get to. But these are just some of my absolute favourites that I've read so far. So the first series I'm going to talk about is the Wayfayers series by Becky Chambers. So the first one is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. So this one was actually in my all-time favourite series. Yeah, I just love it so much. And I also really enjoyed the other books in that series as well. So the second one is A Closed and Common Orbit. So this one kind of follows these two characters. It follows Pepper, it follows her when she's a little girl, and she's kind of escaping from this factory where she's being forced to work. And it also follows Lovelace, who is the AI in The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. So The Small Way to a Long Angry Planet just kind of follows a bunch of characters on their adventures through space on this spaceship. And then yeah, this one, so Lovelace, the AI from this, she actually gets the body at the end of this one. And then in this one, it's just kind of her discovering what it means to be human. And then the final book is A Record of a Spaceborne Few. So this one just follows kind of a bunch of characters on a kind of a space station, and just kind of what happens when you've got nowhere else to go almost, and just kind of them dealing with kind of disillusionment. And yeah, that's just a really interesting one as well. Yeah, this is just such a great series. It's just such a heartwarming series, and the characters are also nice. It just makes you believe in humanity. And yeah, I just really enjoy it. And also another of her books is To Be Taught If Fortunate. So I also really love this book. This is a novella, which is one of the few novellas that I actually really enjoyed. And I don't think this is set in the same world as these ones, so I haven't included it with these ones, but I would also highly recommend this one. And this one just follows kind of a group of 4 scientists, and they're kind of going from different planets and discovering the ecology on those planets. And yeah, if you like biology at all, you'll love this book here. So good. And yeah, it just kind of makes you believe in humanity, similar to the Wayfarers ones. So yeah, I would highly recommend those ones. So then next is the Sleeping Giants series by Sylvian Newell. So the first one is Sleeping Giants, and then Waking Gods, and then Only Human, which I actually have on my Kindle. But so these covers are so pretty. But this is a really good series, and it's told in quite a unique format as well. It's a series of case files. And there's this really mysterious character who's doing all these interviews, and you don't really know who he is. He's quite sassy as well. He's quite funny. One day this little girl, she falls into this giant hand, and then many years later the girl is now a scientist, and they're just discovering this massive robot, which they don't know where it's come from or what it means. And this is quite I would say a down-to-earth sci-fi almost. So there is a bit of sci-fi, that's such a bad description. It's quite focused on humanity and how humans would react to sort of an alien entity coming to Earth. So I'd say if you like An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green, you will definitely like this series, because it sort of deals with kind of the same thing, and how countries and stuff would react to sort of situations a bit out of their control. But yeah, so it's really good. And I really loved all 3 actually. I've seen mixed reviews for the last one, Only Human, but I really liked it. But yeah, so that is this series. Next is the Rising Saga, so I'll put some pictures in here, by Pierce Brown. So I listened to all these on audio because the audiobook's narrated by Tim Gerard Reynolds, who is amazing. He's my favourite audiobook narrator. He just does such a good job. Yeah, so the audiobooks for Red Rising are god tier. I would highly recommend those. So this one follows Darrow in the first one, Red Rising, who is a miner, and he's something called a red. And in this world, the peoples are segregated by colour. So reds are the lowest of the low, but then he gets this opportunity to kind of infiltrate the gold to the top of the pecking order. And so he becomes a gold, and then he goes and kind of infiltrates that society. And the first one is kind of a bit Hunger Gamesy. It's quite it's almost dystopian. But then the series in the next in the later books it just becomes this massive expansive like sci-fi world. It is so good, like the politics and the kind of action, like space battles, they're so good. And the characters are great as well, like Mustang and Victra are two of my like favorite female characters. I love them. And yeah, and like by the later books there's like so much going on, like Dark Age is, oh, it's like a huge book, it's about a 35-hour audiobook or something. But it's so amazing, like there's so much going on and it's so like heart-wrenching, and yeah, it's just a great series. Yeah, I think I gave 5 out of 5 stars to Golden Sun and Morning Star and Dark Age, and then 4 out of 5 stars to Iron Gold and Red Rising. Yeah, it's a great series. And if you don't want like to commit to a 5-book series, then the first 3 are actually a standalone trilogy. So Red Rising, Golden Sun and Morning Star, they are a trilogy and they kind of wrap up nicely. But then there's then a second trilogy, which the last book isn't out, but which kind of deals with some of the consequences of what happened in the first trilogy. And also you're following some new characters as well, which initially, like I think in Iron Gold, I didn't like the new characters as much. But then in Dark Age, like a couple of them really grew on me so much. And then one of them will just, Lysander can be brushed under the rug. But yeah, we'll just forget about him. But yeah, it's just such a great series. So I would highly recommend that one. And then because there wouldn't be a recommendations video from me without mentioning Sanderson, Skyward and Starsight are some of my favourite like sci-fis, and the audiobooks are also amazing. So in this book we follow Spencer, who is like such a feisty character. She's so over dramatic, she's great. And in this world there's kind of these people on this planet and they're being attacked by this alien force that they don't really know much about called the Krell, and they want fighters. So in this society it's like deemed the highest honour to be a pilot and like fight these Krell. So Spencer really wants to be a pilot, but her dad actually ran away, or they think he ran away from the space battle a few years ago, like many years ago. So he's like deemed a coward, and then his whole family is like deemed cowards. And in this world, like being a coward is like the worst thing you can be. So Spencer's trying to fight really hard to like get through her flight school and stuff. And she also discovers this kind of mysterious spaceship called Mbot, who is the best character. He's so funny. I think Sanderson really excels at writing like funny little talking like sidekicks, because obviously there's Nightblood and Warbreaker, and then there's Spren in the Stormlight Archive, and a bit more tense scene kind of in Mistborn. But yeah, it's just and Mbot is just the best. And in the audiobooks as well, he has a Scottish accent, which is so funny. And then in the second audiobook for Starsight, the kind of villain characters all have Scouse accents, which is really funny. Like my mum's side of the family is all from Liverpool, so that was quite funny. But so yeah, so that's good. But they're just great, and I would highly recommend them. Like the action and the characters are all great. So yeah, I'm also going to talk about a kind of YA sci-fi staple, which is the Illumiae Files. So these are so much fun. They also have such great plot twists. Like these ones are some of the only plot twists which are like jaw-dropping to me, because I'm usually like reasonably good at kind of anticipating them or guessing them, but some of these were like, I was shook. But yeah, and these are also told in such a unique format as well. I kind of like, I'll try and show you, like case files. So you have all sorts of weird like things, and there's like some pictures and then some pages where there's like not a lot on them, and yeah, it's just a really cool. I think my favourite in this series is probably Gemina, which is the second one. Yeah, I just love some of the characters in this one, like Nick and Ella. They're just so good. I love the plotline as well. The kind of gangster drama is really good. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I think it's just everything that's good about sci-fi just kind of packed into one series. And they're really easy to read as well. Like you fly through them, I think, because they're told in quite a unique format. So yeah, I would highly recommend this one. Also by Jay Kaufman and Amy Kristoff, is Aurora Rising. So I really enjoyed this one as well. This one is just kind of like such a fun book, and it's just kind of everything you love about like classic sci-fi, and it's just kind of put into this one, and it just has a really like feeling. That's the best way I can describe it. But I just love the characters in this one so much. Like, in Scarlett and Tyler, they're twins, and they just have the best like dynamic. And yeah, Finian and Zila as well, they're just such great characters. And yeah, this is just like a really fun book. You can like blast through it. It's quite, I mean, it looks quite chunky, but it's actually quite quick to read. But yeah, this one's just really fun, and the cover's so pretty as well. But yeah, so in this one we follow like a group of characters, and so Tyler, he's like top of his class, and he thinks he's gonna get to pick like a really good team. But then one day he goes and like ends up rescuing Aurora, who's been in like cryo sleep, and because he's busy rescuing her, he misses like the draft. So he ends up with this like dregs of the team, and then they kind of end up trying to like save the world. I think the tagline is like, they're not the heroes we wanted, but they're the heroes we've got, or something like that. But yeah, it's just a really fun book, and I can't wait for the sequel, which is coming out really soon actually. So yeah, so that is that one. And then lastly, I'm just going to mention a couple of sci-fi TV shows that I think are really underrated and I really love. They're like some of my favourite TV shows. And that is, one of them is Lost in Space, which is the new Netflix version. And that one is just so good. There's only 2 seasons at the moment, but yeah, it's just amazing. It's like, you kind of get this kind of like really good family dynamic, but also such good like space adventure as well. So yeah, I really love that one. And then also The Expanse. So I really want to read The Expanse book series. So I think the first one is Leviathan Wakes, and that's by James A. Corey. So that's definitely my next like big sci-fi series on my TBR. So I'm hoping to get to the first one for that in May, I think. But yeah, I'm super excited for that. But I have watched all the TV show that's out so far, and that is amazing. Like, it's so good. The acting, the like graphics, is that? The like graphics and CGI, the kind of plot, it's all so good. Yeah, I just love it. So if you have read any of these books, or you have any sci-fi recommendations that you think I should get to, please leave them in the comments. I would love to chat about them. Or if you're interested in any of these books, or if you have watched either Lost in Space or The Expanse, or you're going to, do let me know. I would love to chat. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And yeah, I hope you're all having a great day, and I will see you next time.